Hi everyone. I know some of you tried to get into my previous post and were unable to, so I'm trying something different. Hopefully, this works. I am sorry it's been so long since I have posted any updates, but a lot's been going on since May, and that includes 4 different hospitalizations. So, first of all, some good news, and that is my latest PET scan, which was done in August, still shows John Adams to be stable. I'm going to have another PET scan in November, and at that time, my doctor is going to determine if I'm going to continue on one or both of the treatments that I'm on or none, and watch and wait and see what happens. So, that's some good news. And I also am scheduled for a brain MRI, which has had to be rescheduled 3 different times because of what I'm about to tell you. So this summer started with me being inpatient at Banner with the infection, which they were unable to identify, and they released me. Then in June, July, I was admitted again with signs of a major infection, which they were unable to identify, and they released me. And then finally, in August, I was admitted again with definite signs of an infection, so much so that they put me in the ICU. And so I was fighting apparently C. diff and had no idea. And they put me in the ICU and had to do a lot of things to get my blood pressure to stay up, my heart rate to come down, and to control my temperature. And that was an awful experience. I'm not going to lie. It was an awful experience. I have never been asked so many times in my life whether or not I'm a DNR, which I am a DNR, but I've never had to face the fact that I might actually have to implement the DNR in that situation. So it was very, very scary. I did not feel strong. I did not feel positive. And my mom came from Houston to help take care of me and my family. And she was very scared as well. It turned out that I ended up in septic shock. So the infection spread to my blood. And I was being pumped full of fluids and being pumped full of antibiotics and vasodilators, and not vasodilators, norepinephrine. I don't know what that is necessarily. I can't remember, to get my blood pressure up. So we're talking blood pressures of like 70 over 50. So those of you who have chronic low blood pressure, you may or may not know what I'm talking about, but 70 over 50 is almost not conducive to life. Anyway, I was put in a step-down room, and during that time suffered hallucinations from sleep deprivation and being interrupted every 2 hours for blood work, vitals, everything that they do in the ICU, and I actually hallucinated, which was okay. The hallucinations weren't bad, but it's not something I would enjoy doing, drug-induced or not. Then I was released, and this is where it gets kind of weird. So I was released and I was out of the hospital for no less than 12 hours before an ambulance had to be called and take me back to the hospital for what turned out to be a gastric bleed, which they blamed on my blood thinner. That was one of the most painful things I've ever endured, and I was again put into the ICU. They had to do a special procedure on me where they had to go through my groin and find out where the gastric bleed was and cauterize any blood vessels that were bleeding. Turns out that nothing was bleeding at the time that they did the procedure. Everything had gone into my tissues in my abdomen, which was very, very painful. So apparently when blood is not where it's supposed to be, it can cause a lot of pain. My legs felt like tree trunks. They still do. And I was at least kept in the hospital for 2 weeks and they were trying to balance my electrolytes, trying to balance my hemoglobin, and make sure that I was not having an active bleed. And then the last 3 days of being in the hospital, I was being tapered off of heparin, which is a blood thinner, to be put back on my blood thinner. So even though they blamed my blood thinner, they still put me back on it because that's what my oncologist wanted me to be on. And because that particular blood thinner is indicated for people with brain tumors, brain metastases. So that's why they want to keep me on it. I've been home 14 days. Today is 14 days. And Friday, I acknowledged my second year of going through this process. 2 years ago, I was diagnosed. And I got to say, this year has been rough. I've only had 5 treatments this year, where I should be having at least one every month. And that's because of complications in my blood work that my oncologist has asked that we be put on hold so that I can get better in my blood work, let my body heal, which is fine with me. And I'm still on hold right now because I'm still fighting an infection, and I'm on a 30-day course of antibiotics. Who's ever heard of a 30-day course of antibiotics? And when that's over with, he'll reevaluate blood work, which I get done every week. And yeah, that's where I'm at. The boys in Travis have been amazing, super helpful. The boys got their first jobs. Dale is working at Einstein's Bagels. And for those of you who are in Tucson, just so you know, Einstein's doesn't bake their bagels on site. They're coming frozen, and then they're thawed out and put on display. So that might push you over to Bruegger's, where you know they're being made, freshly made every day. I prefer Bruegger's anyway. And then Robert is working at Walmart in the automotive department, and he is responsible for checking cars in and customers into the system. So he's not actually doing any mechanics. Plus, he's still tutoring at Pima EMT. So the boys are busy. They're exhausted. They haven't figured out the work-life school balance yet, and it's kind of entertaining to watch them come home and like just pass out. So that's happening, and Travis continues to be my rock, so I can't complain about that. I'm getting stronger every day. I am in a lot of pain. I'm on a lot of medicine, and that's just the way that it is right now. So hopefully I'll have an update after my next exam. I think the next exam will be a brain scan, and then the next exam after that will be a PET scan. So for now, that's all I have. Hope that this posts correctly, because I know that everybody had some trouble hearing the previous message. And yeah, I love you. Thank you for the love and support that you send my way in all the different ways that you send that love and support. I acknowledge it every single day. So take care until the next time. Bye.